When he sees a foreign invader, he's going to yell, "Invader, invader!"
Invader, invader.
The X in number 7 is just saying how many were voting yes. That's what's helping you determine your percentage, right?
Your left hand starts on 4 and crosses to 3, and that does not change in the minors.
This is basically the same thing that you guys are doing right now.
They're kind of looking at some natural sciences, some art, some humanities that you need, and some of those are going to be similar to like our macro agreement, you know.
Did anyone bring their own? Okay, and that's fine to use too. You can just hook up to the wireless here.
Are your meds all like set and ready to be checked or not yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Because these people, the peasants, took an oath of allegiance to the noble, they're also the king's vassal.
Where do you want to transfer to?
GVSU.
Okay.
You can push a student to do something that they just never thought that they could do. That's a unique victory that a lot of other people don't share. When I was making car parts and selling them to my customers, I wasn't driving home across the state or flying home from a trip thinking, wow, I really, I sold the heck out of that visor today. All right, and here it's unique.
It seemed like no matter what job I had, I was always collecting little things, saying, oh, I could use this in class, or, this is a kind of cool example to show how this works. And I had a few teachers who I thought were really good. And I had one of my instructors here was Dave Bruce. And I remember even before I taught Calc, I was going to teach Calc 2 for the first time. And I went back online and watched his videos to just get some ideas. And
everybody, welcome back to late afternoon calculus. The mistakes are for real.
I did notice he was using the same jokes then as he did in my class. It seems like teachers that do well, they just really deep down, it seems like their measure of success is how well their students do.
What keeps me going from day to day is I think the success of the students. I really enjoy seeing them come in, and some of them are very green when they come in. You might have the high school graduate who's just out of school. You might have the grandma who decided to come back after all these years after raising a family, and I just love to see them when they're just green and everything amazes them, and then to see them progress through the program and feeling confident about themselves and seeing them actually graduate and participating in a pinning ceremony where they can share with their family and friends.
When I step foot on GRCC's campus, I'm excited to share in that journey with them, and I hope that they can see that incitement and they can tap into my attitude of excellence and understand that they do have strengths, skills, and talents to take them to that next level.
I've always really liked research. It's exciting to me and it's fun. So when I'm doing that for a person, especially working one-on-one with a student, I just really enjoy that. There's such a variety of students here. They're juggling so many different things at one time that I really admire them. When I went to school, I was working maybe 10 hours a week. I know students that are working 2 or 3 other jobs besides going here.
Well, that's kind of that's the difficult thing, but at the same time the fun thing is always trying to keep really high standards within my classroom, but at the time make sure that all of the students who might have the skill level can actually work towards that goal rather than it being something unattainable. And so it is constantly shifting. You have to be completely integrated into your classroom, and you have to watch around, look around and make sure that that nobody looks like they're ready to run from the room. So, and then wake up the one over in the corner that kind of fell asleep.
How students are the most successful is if you can engage them right from the beginning and you can show them how biology is related to themselves and to everyday life around them, then I can do the catch and get them naturally interested in biology.
So you're going to go around and you're going to look for things like this, and if you're going to go up and you're going to look at it, you're going to try and decide, is this something that's really going to cause an immune system reaction? Okay.
The way I teach the class, there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of engagement in which the students are doing most of the work, and so we kind of get to know each other because there's a lot of laughing and movement around the classroom, and so they feel at home, and it's just a good match. So,
you know, you go from working with a student in an advising role where they want to know what classes they should take next semester, and then all of a sudden they tell you that they're pregnant and that next semester is going to be affected by that pregnancy, or that they just lost their house and they're not really sure where they're going to live next semester, but they still want to sign up for classes. And so all of a sudden that conversation just becomes so much bigger and so much richer in some ways, and I think my role then becomes so much more important to help them process, okay, what all is going on in my life.
You're right, it's E natural. E, F, G flat. It's still 0, 1, 2.
I think some things that I was surprised by is the experience and depth and great teaching that goes on here. I think there's a tradition here, and I think just Grand Rapids in general, there's a cultural tradition here. There's a lot of arts here in the community, and I think GRCC has been part of that from as early as the music department started here. They've just been kind of part of the fabric of that here in Grand Rapids.
Part of it when you teach calculus is getting them to understand, you know, it's going to take a lot of work. You got to work really hard to get this concept down that took really, 400 years for really, really smart people to master. So you're trying to do that in one semester, so it's going to take a lot of work.
One thing that's very, very important, I think, in a history class is to give students the understanding of what's the difference between events and interpretation of events. And I tend to find that they just get very, very excited about that moment where all of a sudden all of this stuff, all this crap that they read from my class that I forced them to read, most evilly, right? Where the textbook and these historic documents and the lectures all suddenly just come together for them. And then out of that, you have a scholar.
I have those future elementary educators come into my classroom, and I know that they're going to impact hundreds of students' lives throughout their lifetime. And if I can make an impact on them, then I can really make an impact.
I think we're all excited about helping students get to that next level. I see their passion. I know that when I've gone through some additional trainings with them, and we're always talking about, well, how can we use this in the classroom? And they ask, well, how are you going to use it outside of the classroom? And I see that genuine passion and excitement. And so I think we all share that.
Thank you to the judges, but more importantly, thank you to the students that are here.
The presentation that we liked for a lot of different reasons was Popeye Dog Training School, first lecture.
She did a great job, and it was really gratifying to see her go on, because what I see here at GRCC, and I mean it as genuine as I can state it, we have absolutely some phenomenal students. I mean, our students, I would line up a large percentage of our top students with any institution in the area, and I think that's a perfect example that we can compete.
Our students here aren't that different from students elsewhere. They want to achieve, they want to be in your class, and they want to do well. So don't be afraid to have high expectations of them.
Well, I think success is such a tricky word, and I think that for me that's one thing that I've learned just in general is that it's not about how I define success, it's really about what makes that student feel like they now are empowered to maybe take another step forward or do something new.
If I had to give advice, I think, to other new faculty, coming in, I'd just say, be involved, try and get involved with different committees on campus, try and network. And
one thing I like a lot about working here is that they encourage you to really take things, I guess, in your own hands. If you want to learn a new skill, you can go ahead and do that.
What do you deem appropriate to help the college? What do you think enhances our mission, what we're doing here? And that makes it easier to want to do those things.
I'm very, very passionate, obviously, about academia and the idea that community colleges really need to grab their position in academia. And I think that things like these conferences and the guitar series, and I mean just all the really cool things that you see going on in our campus. I like the nature of ours. We're always thinking, what would the community like?